making sure that he's going back carefully and I can get out of the way if I need to. But he's pretty docile, so we don't have to really worry too much about him. But you always you gotta keep your wits about you just in case. Now it's time. Well, we gotta bring Mom in the chute. Not a lot wrong with Mom. The only problem with her is she's got some long toes. One's got a corkscrew, and the other one, well, it's just long. So first we're going to tackle this corkscrew claw. Now once again, I'm not going to take much off of that claw on the left, or that medial claw. Everything I'm going to remove is going to come from that lateral. The only reason that there's growth there is because of this corkscrew now in this case, and because of that, this foot's not wearing properly. So I'm going to do a little extra trimming. I'm going to do a deeper model than I typically would, because that's kind of the area that's causing this corkscrew. Because of that growth there, it has a tendency to make that foot want to turn a little bit. So I'm going to remove more there, and that's going to give a longer period of time to keep that corkscrew from happening again. It's very likely that she will start to corkscrew again. It's kind of a genetic condition, but we'll see what happens with this one. I'm going to give her a quick trim up, and we'll move to that other foot and take care of that long toe. When I was talking about a deeper model, this is the area I'm going to do that right here. This is where we find the typical sole ulcer. That's why they call it the typical sole ulcer site. But anyway, I'm going to model here. This is going to prevent this corkscrew from happening for just a little bit longer, as I mentioned earlier, and that way we don't have to trim her as often. Now we're going to slide over, and we're going to work on that long toe. Now with this medial claw, there is a little bit to trim away, not necessarily sole depth, but just some loose stuff that's hanging on there. When we look at the claw on the left here, or the lateral claw in this case, you can see how it's growing a little bit funny. Once it gets big like this and it's not making correct ground contact, then that problem just exacerbates. It gets worse and worse because it's not wearing properly. So what we do is we trim this claw, get it back to the normal angle that it's supposed to be by creating the normal thicknesses in that claw. Once we do that, now when she takes that step, everything is going to make contact like it should. And when that happens, then this claw should wear properly. Now there are some signs of laminitis with this claw. You'll notice that thickening toward the white line area there, and there's a little bit of a paddle toe type appearance to it where that toe gets really flat and wide. That's a sign that there might have been some laminitis at some point in her life. So we're just going to trim this down, get this back to a normal shape so it once again performs like it's supposed to when it touches the ground. And with that, Mama's done. Now once again, we're going to back her out of the chute. There's really only one thing left to do, and that is to check with Baby and make sure she approves of all this. Well, what do you think, little miss? She's not impressed. Back to the hay.